What's up, my freaks? All right, we're gonna get in on this action. So our EQ today is how can I factor this completely? How can I factor this completely? Completely. And our learning target is factoring completely. We're going to learn how to factor things completely. So first, let's review a little bit. I would like for everybody to just take a minute and factor this. Come on, you can do it. You know where to put the stuff. You know where to put the first and last term, and then you know where to put the middle term. You know how to get the top of the diamond problem. You know how to find those factors, place it in, find common factors, and then write the factors of the quadratic equation down. Let's do that. Excuse me. We've been doing a lot of these. We're going to keep doing a lot of these, so just keep this in mind. This is something you need to know. I was telling you for a long time this was coming. So let's do this. Maybe you got x plus 2 times 3x plus 4. Or if you wrote 3x plus 4 times x plus 2, that's fine as well. So I've talked about this before, but I want to remind you the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So that is where a, b, and c are coefficients. What are coefficients? They're the numbers in front of a variable. So, and don't forget the sign in front. Is included. For example, put that down for now. Example would be if we looked at the quadratic equation 4x squared minus 3x plus 2. Well, what are my a, b, and c? My a equals 4. My b, if you thought 3, it's negative 3. We got to include that sign in front. And my c equals 2. Okay? So why don't you go take a moment and tell me what does a, b, and c equal in 3x squared plus 10x plus 8. Go ahead. All right, that should have been enough time to write it down. So my a is 3, my b is 10, and my c is 8. Boosh, right there. Now, that's standard form. But what happens when the equation is not in standard form? What happens when the equation is not in standard form? For example, let's look at this one right here. 9x squared minus 4 is not in standard form. It's missing something. Which is it missing? So if I'm looking at ax squared plus bx plus c, what are we missing? Are we missing the ax squared, the bx, or the c? Well, in this case, we are missing the bx term because we have 9x squared. So what is my a? My a is 9. And I have my minus 4 at the end, so I know my c is minus 4. But if I were to rewrite this, watch this. It's really 9x squared plus 0x minus 4. See how we have no x terms? We're going to write 0x, which tells us that what's our b value? 0. And now I can even solve this. I'm going to have, all right, 9x squared, negative 4, 0x. Don't freak out about that. Negative 4 times 9x squared is going to get me negative 36x squared. Now, the only possible way I can get a 0 on bottom is if my factors are equal and opposite. So I know one has to be positive, one has to be negative because this is negative. And to multiply two numbers to get a negative, only one can be negative. So what two numbers can I multiply together that are the same that will make up 36x squared? Well, it is negative 6 and positive 6. Negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. X times x is x squared. So, negative 6x. 6x. I can factor out a negative 2 there. Here I can factor out a 3x. What times 3x is 6x? 2. What times 3x is 9x squared? 3x. And my product ends up being 3x plus 2 times 3x minus 2. All right. How about this kind of weird situation right here? So, what term am I missing in the ax squared plus bx plus c? Well, I have 12x squared, so I have the ax squared. And I have minus 16x, so I have the b plus bx, right? But I don't have a c value. So, in this case, I know my a is 12. My b is negative 16. What's my c? Well, if it's not there, it's just 0. Okay? But I want you to look at these two. Without even factoring or doing all this, what do they have in common? So do 12 and 16 have anything in common? A common factor I can pull out? Yeah, they have a 4 in common. How about between x squared and x? Yeah, they have an x in common. So check this out. If I pull a 4x out, what am I left with? Well, 12 divided by 4 is 3, and x squared divided by x is x. Minus, what's 16 divided by 4? It's 4. And x divided by x is 1, so it's just gone. Look at that. That is already factored. We don't even have to do anything. So when your c is missing, you just see what you can factor out of it, and you can solve it. When your b is missing, we rewrite it with a 0 where it goes, and we solve it. Let's try this again. So this one was missing the b value. This one was missing the c value. Let's look down here. 3 plus 8k squared minus 10k. Well, let's look. ax squared plus bx. I know I keep writing it down, but I want you guys to see this. Is there an ax squared term? Yeah, I have 8k squared. Is there a bx term? Yeah, I have 10k. By the way, you may be saying, well, that's a k, not an x. It's a variable. That's what we're getting at. Yeah, I have minus 10k. Okay, do I have a c? Yeah, I have a 3. Oh, so what's the problem then? Out of order. So when it's out of order, you just need to rewrite it in standard form. 8k squared minus 10k plus 3. And then what's my a, b, and c? My a, in fact, go ahead and write down your a, b, and c. Take a moment and do it right now. And then once you do it, set this up and solve it. Plug it into the generic rectangle. And get this going. And let's see how you did. Ooh, if you said A is 8, B is negative 10, don't forget you need that negative in front of the 10 too, and C is 3, then you wrote that part down right. Now, you may be asking yourself, this doesn't really help me solve it. Why do I need to be able to identify the A, B, and C? Well, there's a thing called a quadratic. Just like I told you, generic rectangles and diamonds were going to get used together, and we're going to do that for a while. There's a thing coming in your future again called the quadratic formula. Want to know what it is? It's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yeah, that's right, I did that. So that's coming in your future. Don't even worry about it. Don't fuss with it. It's actually pretty easy once you get down with it. But for now, we're doing this. So let's go ahead and start it off again. Go ahead and solve this. I'll solve mine. Let's meet in the middle. You guys might be getting stuck with those negatives, but don't you worry. There's a way out. We'll talk about that. Another minute, take a drink of coffee. I like coffee. It's true, I do. All right, let's see how you're doing. Boom. Look at that right there. So, some things to show you here. What happened? You know, we did our 8k squared in our 3. We did our negative 10k for the middle. Multiply those together to get 24k squared. The only way I get a positive up here and a negative down here is if these are both negative. So what can I multiply to get 24 that adds up to be a negative 10, negative 4, and negative 6, right? Now, here's where something new kind of happened. If I have a negative 6k here and a negative 4k here, how did I know to do a negative 3? Well, here's the deal. I never want my k values to be negative. So if they're opposite like this negative and these two are positive, I'm pretty much going to guarantee these two factors are going to be negative every time. There may be a rare case where I'm wrong. I don't think so. So what can I pull out of here? Clearly 3, but then I'm going to pull out a negative 3. Out of here, you may be thinking by the same reasoning, I can pull out a negative 4, and I could, but I don't want to. Why? I don't want that to be negative, and actually it wouldn't even work out. So it's going to be a positive 4k, and then here's the thing, though. What do I multiply times 4k to make negative 4k? Negative 1. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's not going to work over here. Well, yeah, it does. What's negative 1 times negative 3? It's positive 3. See how that works? What times 4k is 8k squared? 2k. So I end up with 2k minus 1, 4k minus 3. Awesome. Now, we have one other situation to look at. So we've looked at the situations when I'm missing the B term, when I'm missing the C term. We've looked at a situation where it's just out of order. Now, let's talk about what happens when I'm missing the ax squared term. So check this out. For ax squared plus bx plus c. Do I have an ax squared term? No, there's nothing, no squared anything. So I'm missing this term. All right. So then what's my a value going to be? It's going to be 0 because that's the one I'm missing. What's my b value? Well, I do need to maybe rewrite this. I can rewrite this as negative 100m plus 40, I guess, if you really want to. You didn't have to, but you could have. So that would make my b negative 100 and my c 40. Now, do those have anything in common? And I'm just going to really go back. I'm going to look at it like this, guys. I think it's prettier to look at it like that. What do 40 and 100 have in common? Well, they have 20 in common. So if I pull the 20 out, what am I left with? 20 times 2 is 40, so it's 2, minus 20 times 5 is 100, 5m. And that is fully factored. That's factored completely. Check that out. Isn't that awesome? So you guys have a bit of homework today. Have I worked down on back? Nope, not yet. Well, I have actually on this lesson over here. I did for my notes, but yeah, you got some stuff to work through. Let me know if you have any questions. We have little work time today, but guess what? I will be here to help many of you in person today, or other math teachers will be available to you today, so take advantage of that. With that said, peace out.